Good evening, Council. It's Henry Alexander III, and I'm running for seat number 1 for City Council. What I wanted to discuss in regards to this, I've been someone who has been a proponent of having the vote cast upon the residents of Sunnyvale. In essence, this has the potential to set the city up for a supermajority that might have financial ties to entities with high dollar investment interests. With that potential being there, that must be considered, because you all who are sitting here now will not be here, right? So how do we know that these people who might be elected in the future might be unscrupulous? That's something that has to be considered. Alongside with the spirit of transparency that I spoke about earlier, there should be a hub that the city should host, which would allow for everyone to have a full and transparent view of notifications and also the cost, so that there is no questions and you have less of a queue of people coming up to the stand here asking you the same questions over and over again. And as a possibility to improve this, we could look at this from a standpoint of acreage. Why not include a certain acreage size that the voters can vote upon, rather than make one blanket decision amongst a supermajority? I think that it's been very clear that the residents of Sunnyvale are pretty much even when it comes to this, right? But that being said, I think that there's a disconnect between the citizens of Sunnyvale and the communication between the city and the council. And once we have that, we would probably have much more of a group of people who want a better quality of life, which means more open space. And I'm not saying that any acreage has been taken away or any parks have been taken away. But again, if we're talking about what could happen in the future, we can't predict that. And if we put it in the hands of people who might be unscrupulous, this is something that we definitely want to consider. So again, I go back to transparency. There was little transparency when this came up with Rayner Park. There was little transparency as it came up with the Parks and Recreation Commission, which I was a part of. And I believe that if the city of Sunnyvale doesn't do a good job to increase its transparency, you run the risk of having fewer and fewer people have trust within the city. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Councilmember Melton.
Mr. Alexander, can you just tell me a little bit more about what you mean by acreage? I hear you say that. Are you saying that there would be some sort of ordinance adopted that specifies the city will hold X number of acres?
No, what I mean is,
what does that mean?
What I'm referring to is perhaps looking at it from a standpoint of, if the land has a certain acreage, then that might go to the vote of the citizens rather than it be a majority vote in every case.
I gotcha. Thank you very much.
Thank you.